One of the #1 questions we get asked is how we do our air conditioning evaluation checks. So we're going to show you step by step on how I evaluate the vehicle, do our first steps of checks, and where we get to in the end after we do a performance check on what we need to do and tell the customer what the next steps would be. So let's go check this out and dive right in. Today we've got this Honda Fit. The customer's complaint is that there is no cold AC, and then out of nowhere it'll start blowing cold. So we're going to go check this thing out. We'll show you what's going on. So first thing we're doing, just basic checks. We need to get into the vehicle and make sure that everything works. When I say everything works, we want to make sure our fans work, our modes work, and see if we could duplicate our customer's concern. Right now, customer's concern is that the vehicle will blow moderately cool, and then it'll all of a sudden blow cold and then go back to moderately cool. I'm not really sure how well that is an accurate representation, but we'll see what we got. As of right now, I can't see anything. AC on, recirc, front, cold, fans on 3. It's blowing moderately cool. Let's check some of our modes. Front and floor, that's good. Floor only. Yep. Defrost and floor. Yep. And then defrost only. Yeah, that's good. All right, so all of our modes are good. I'm not going to test the heat right now because I want to make sure that we keep everything as cold as possible. So the next step, that we've confirmed everything in the vehicle, and when I say confirmed, meaning that our modes and a slight representation of what's going on. It is cool in this vents here, not very cool right here at all. So now we're going to go over and hook up our machine. All right, our AC machine, our hoses are empty. All right, so all we're doing at this point is getting a representation of where our gauges are reading. So that way we know when we recover it, whatever the gauge is read will help us with that diagnosis. So let's assume that right now we're at 45 and just below 150. We're about like 130 or so. Let's say we go ahead and recover this and it's full. We would use this as our representation of the performance of the system. Now let's say the system's empty. We can ignore what these read. We would have to refill it to the proper level to make sure we read our gauges correctly. So right now we're going to notate that. We're about 40, 45 over 130 right now as it's running. So I'm going to go ahead and shut it off, and then we're going to get it recovered. All right, so this thing holds like nothing, 13 to 14 ounces, 13.1 to 14.8 ounces. So we're gonna go ahead and let this do its job. This will take probably about 10 minutes or so. So once this is done, I'll bring you back and show you how much came out. All right, we're back. So recovery is done, 0.43 pounds. So that's absolutely nothing. Or not really, I mean, it's probably almost a little over half of the charge. We're doing, what, 14.8 ounces at max. That's half a pound. Half a pound would be 8 ounces, so yeah, a little over half of the charge. So it pulled a vacuum, it does its job. The first thing we're going to do, since we have no refrigerant in the system, we're gonna add some dye while we're here so we don't have to do it again later. It's just one of those courtesy things that we do. And not really, I wouldn't say like full courtesy thing. It's part of the procedure that I do. Okay. You know how many haters I get for doing it like that? So many. Don't really care. All right, dye is in the system. We're not worried about an insane vacuum right now. We're worried about making sure the system works. So we're gonna charge it by kilograms. That's 0.42 kilograms. Hit the wrong button. I put 4.2 kilograms. That's like 6 pounds, 7 pounds. Okay, 0.42 kilograms. All right, so we're filling that back up. This will take another couple of minutes to do, so I'll bring you back when we're done, check pressures, and see our temperatures at that point. All right, system is fully charged. Right now in the shade, it's 85 degrees. So we're gonna leave that there so we can kind of see it. And we can see the gauges. We're gonna go get in the car and start this thing up. All right, so I'm just watching my temperature on this and my pressures as the vehicle is running. Hopefully you can see me because it's getting bright out. Let's test our heat door. It's hot. So right now I'm just giving it some throttle. Yeah, those pressures are pretty bad. They're in the tank right now. This thing possibly has a stuck expansion valve. I can't really see the gauges perfectly, but I'm only reading about 100 on the high side and almost 0 on the low side. So we've got, outside of the fact that it's got a leak, he's got a performance issue, and he's walking over to me. So if I cut out for a minute, it's because the customer showed up. Yeah, we're not cooling at all. I'm gonna put you guys in front of the gauges so you can see what happens when I'm revving it up and show you exactly what the pressures are reading. All right, so you guys are looking at the gauges. You're gonna hear me because I'm in the car, but you can see how we're pulling down into a vacuum when I give it just a little RPM. I'm not sure if you can see the temperature on the Power Pro, but it's only reading 80, which means the system's not working at all. So we have a massive performance issue here, and that's gonna need to be addressed. And I'll let off the throttle, and you can see it comes back up. It technically should be blowing cold right there, but because of the restriction in the low side of this system, it's not going to. It's never gonna get working at all because we can't build up enough head pressure at all. So, as you can tell, pressures at idle, one would think that they're normal, and they're not. The head pressure is not high enough. Right now, I'm only sitting at 125 and 30 on the low side. Those are horrible pressures. That high side should be much higher than that. My first impression would be we have a stuck expansion valve, meaning it can't move when that compressor starts to give it a good amount of flow when we're starting to really pull that suction line down. And that's what happens. So anywhere from the expansion valve to the compressor, we get a low pressure like that on that valve, on our port, is because we're starting to lose refrigerant in that line. So our first thing for me, I would sell an expansion valve here. I wouldn't be chasing a compressor or anything like that. I mean, you could argue the fact that you could pull a suction line off and try to blow through it, but chances are you're not gonna find anything there. First inkling would be expansion valve. Now, I don't know if there's gonna be other issues. We might be able to put an expansion valve in it, get totally different pressures, and find out we've got a bad compressor for some other reason. You know, who knows, but I highly doubt it. I'm just giving you hypotheticals that I don't rule out because I've seen stupid, weird things when it comes to air conditioning. But in this type of situation, two things. Expansion valve is a number one, and number two, he needs a leak check. So that's something that needs to be sold separately from this performance test and evaluation that we're doing today. So I'm gonna go talk to him, see what's going on and what he wants to do, and we'll go from there. All right, so that's it. We're not doing any type of leak check today. This is purely, we're gonna just send an estimate for the expansion valve, and we'll see about the leak. It might be, we might get lucky and show something with the dye later on, but our first step is let's get the expansion valve put in and let's make sure the system's gonna operate and blow nice and cold before we start selling any other work. That's kind of what I've decided off camera here, so that's what we're gonna do. Outside of that, that's it. That's my procedure. Sometimes it's different. Sometimes it's identical. It really depends on the car and what I'm faced with. But typically, this is how it goes every time. With the same procedure, we check everything inside, then check everything outside, and see what we need to do. We need to find out if the system's full or not. At that point is where we stop and evaluate and see what's going on. If we had an electrical issue at that point and we had no compressor engagement, we'd be selling electrical diag instead of a leak check. So it really depends on the car on where the next steps are, but the evaluation and the initial testing is usually all the same. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed that. Got any other ideas for videos? Leave them down in the comments below. And don't forget, if you want to start your mobile automotive service and you're looking for that help, follow us over on TikTok as well, because we give you just as much information as we do here and sometimes a bit more. And go follow along with all of our shorts and everything here on YouTube. Also, don't forget, if you like half of the tools that we're using here in the videos, I have a new Amazon store link down in the description. You can go there and check out all the stuff that we have as far as tools, hand cleaners, rags, you name it. Everything that I have bought from Amazon is on that link, and that does help me out a little bit, so I appreciate you guys. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next job.